All right, so I'm here with Nick, who's senior producer on FIFA 16. Now, you guys have talked a lot about improving the kind of balance of the game this year. What were the big criticisms last year and how have you kind of addressed them?
Yeah, so I think last year the game was quite imbalanced towards the attacker, especially sort of speedy wingers. You know, a lot of people playing with Real Madrid. You've got, you know, Ronaldo on one side, Bale on the other. And it was quite difficult for players, to defenders to keep with those players. So loads of work around defensive agility, how players move, the responsiveness of the defenders, but also looking at how your teammates, your AI teammates cover you. So we've reworked how our defending teams defend as a unit, so they cover more. You know, they'll move away from the player they're marking to cover dangerous space. So, you know, much more, lots of work around defending, rework slide tackles as well, that allow you to sort of, you know, cope with that sort of pace and responsiveness in dribbling. So we've done a lot of work there, but it's also allowed us to do even more work attacking wise too. So you now ping passes, in midfield you can use the right bumper and pass to really ping a pass, because players are now going to be much more aggressive in trying to intercept the ball. We've also reworked dribbling, as it giving you a little bit more power dribbling with no touch dribbling. You hold down the left bumper and you can use it to do body feints, kind of make skill moves a little bit more accessible. So lots of work, but making sure that yes, we're doing lots of work in defending, but giving you more sort of abilities in attack too, but maintaining the balance of the game.
How's it affected the general sort of pace of a match?
I think it's a little bit more considered. We wanted, the other big thing that all our players told us was we wanted the midfield to matter. We wanted to feel like there's more build-up play. So, you know, by that very nature, it's not all about, you know, get the ball and sprint with it. It's about, you know, looking for space. You know, you can't just play a pass sort of blind now, because players will try and intercept it. So you have to think a bit more. It's a little bit more considered. But I think what's really nice about it is there's not one over-pervasive tactic. You know, you're not using getting it out wide and using speed. You know, building up through the midfield, you know, maybe playing a through ball, getting it out wide, getting balls in behind. We've reworked our crossing system to be more sort of the balls are leading the attackers a little bit more, but a little bit more error there again to keep the balance. So, you know, more variety in the way the game's played, and probably, you know, a little bit more build-up play.
Now, obviously, you know, defence is important, and making sure players are kind of engaged when they're playing defensively is important as well. But obviously, the really sexy stuff happens at the other end. Yeah. Any changes to kind of shooting, things like that? Yeah,
I mean, I mentioned no-touch dribbling. I think that's a big change in the fact that, you know, you can feint and another weapon to try and break down a defender. But you mentioned shooting. We've obviously done quite a lot of work in shooting, around ball physics over the years. But now we're also really looking at 3D model of the foot. So really about the way that the ball and the foot sort of connect, emergent behaviour. When you get like a square on laces shot, we're actually more driven trajectory, so more powerful shots. But you know, if you cut across the ball, if you come around the ball, you'll see different behaviours on the ball, different spin of the ball. Creating behaviours not had before. It's making those wow moments. I think we've done a really good job of creating wow moments in FIFA. We wanted to enhance that further.
All right, so outside of the stuff on the pitch, what changes are you making kind of structurally, career mode, anything like that?
So we're not talking about career mode. You know, as we know, we'll talk about that a little bit later in the campaign. We'll talk about FUT as well, some really good changes there still to talk about. But you know, one of the biggest changes we made, and we obviously announced this a few weeks ago, and something we're really proud of, is the introduction of women's teams. So 12 international women's teams. It's something we've been working on for quite a while now, about 3 years. We did a prototype, kind of create the list of all the things that we felt we needed to do it right. We only wanted to bring women into our game when we felt we could do it justice, and we had to change how we did body scaling. We had to change create new animations. We wanted to make sure we head scanned as many of the teams as we could. We also needed hair simulation as well. So all of these things we hadn't had in our game previously. It wasn't a priority when you were just looking at, you know, hair simulation wasn't really a priority for men. There wasn't that many men with ponytails, but obviously to do it right, we needed those things to come in. And you know, it was a great moment for us as a team about 3 weeks ago to be able to announce that.
It's great that it coincides with the Women's World Cup as well. It's sort of obviously something that you guys have had to work on for over a year. You know, this isn't just something you put together in a year with the mocap and stuff, but it really feels like a kind of, you know, it's on the rise, the kind of the prominence of women's football.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that's the thing is, you know, we pride ourselves in being the most authentic football game, and we felt that, you know, we could only be truly fully authentic if we had women in our game. Again, talked about doing it right, doing it authentically, but you know, you look at the growth of women's game in the last 5 or 6 years, it's grown massively. You know, more people are watching it than ever. You know, look at the audience figures for the World World Cup currently. You know, I should point out we're not a World Cup game. We do have international teams, but we're not a licensed Women's World Cup game. But yeah, the popularity of the sport is just for women has grown massively.
And I think it's, you know, there's been a few kind of hardcore FIFA fans who've been kind of grumbling about it, but it's not just about stuff for existing FIFA fans. It's about opening it out to women, you know, female game players as well.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, as I come back to, you get, you know, in the modern world that we live in with social media, you get very polarizing views on everything, you know, everything that we do right now. But, you know, again, to be honest, the fundamental thing was authenticity. That was obviously what we always sort of hold ourselves to. But, you know, we've seen a growth in female players playing FIFA. You know, it's been very well received generally. We're really happy with the reaction we've got.
Obviously, one of the great things about, you know, a new FIFA is kind of new stadia and stuff. Any new announcements in that?
We'll see. I think there was a tease in our video yesterday. As well, but we will announce officially what's new, if anything, at a later date.
Very, very coy. Cheers, Nick.
All right, it's great to see you again.